In this video, we would like to show a few of the more than 6,000 restorations and repairs done by A Touch of Glass in its 43 years of operation. We hope you find this interesting. We received many of our restoration projects in this kind of condition. This required almost complete disassembly and reconstruction. This even contained a broken and badly deteriorated painted and fired medallion, which we were capable of reproducing. This was a project for an individual's den library, and we were able to bring these panels back to their original condition. This badly damaged panel was in a mausoleum in Pontiac, Illinois. A caretaker who remembered quite well what the missing center portion of the panel was like helped us design the missing part of the panel. A lot of our church restoration and repair were done on site, but sometimes it was necessary to bring some panels to the studio. This was for Trinity Lutheran Church in Bloomington. This is the George Miller House in Bloomington, Illinois, which is on the Historic Register. It has several excellent art glass panels, which we photographed and appraised for the owner at the time of it being placed on the Historic Register. And we did minor repairs to almost all of the panels in this house. And then one day, one of the more important windows was stolen. We had a photograph of the stolen panel and was able to reproduce it for the owner. And then, 10 or 15 years later, remarkably, the stolen panel was found in an antique shop 150 miles away. Here's the original, and here is our reproduction. Sometimes we received 2 or more identical panels and was asked to combine them to produce one good panel. We had 2 of this panel, but we still had to make one bevel which was missing from the center portion. We had 2 of this very interesting panel, but we also had to completely reconstruct and re-lead it. We had 2 of this panel and was able to give the client one good one. We had 3 or 4 of this panel, and it was amazing how often a broken piece in one panel was in good shape and usable in one of the other panels. A renovation in a downtown Normal, Illinois building exposed 5 previously unknown, badly damaged stained glass panels. These were not repairable, and we were commissioned to replicate those panels. We were pleased to be part of bringing a 100-plus-year-old building back to its original appearance. We oftentimes got requests to resize a panel so that it would fit in a different location. This round panel was too large and needed to fit in a square opening. So we cut it down and added to it so that it would fit in its new location. We added a nice, soft, clear textured glass so that it maintained its circular appearance. A 3rd or 4th generation farm family added on to the family home, and these 2 panels had to be removed. They asked us to combine and add to these two panels to fit in the transom in the new addition. This client brought us 5 rectangular panels and wanted us to combine them to fit in her half-circle living room window. Lamps were maybe our most frequent restoration project, sometimes as simple as resoldering a loose piece of metal, but often they looked like these badly damaged lamps. We really enjoyed getting them back to their original condition. Many of the lamps that came to us had bent glass panels. Not many studios could do this glass bending, but we had that capability. It required making a refractory mold of an undamaged bent panel, then cutting a flat piece of glass the proper size, then careful placement of that glass on the mold in the kiln. Heating the glass has to be done carefully and precisely. It takes about 8 hours to complete the heat and cool cycle. Another lamp damage issue is broken or missing metal parts. Perfected making a special clay mold and then casting the missing part in a tin lead composition metal. A little trimming and detailing with a Dremel tool, and we're ready to install the piece. This small lamp needed a bent panel and some metal repair. It was a signed handle and fairly valuable. This interesting peacock lamp had its crest knocked off, and we were able to reproduce the missing crest. Some of the lamps we repaired were family heirlooms, like this lamp that was in its 3rd generation. We restored over 2,000 lamps in our 43 years of operation. Most of them were 80 or 100 years old or older. We worked on a large variety of different designs and types of glass lamps. Some of them quite valuable, but all of them worth saving. We had the ability to produce any small to medium-sized hand bevel we wanted, to include zipper cutting or notching the beveled edge and wheel engraving on the flat area. Sometimes, because of the added weight of beveled glass, these panels would bow, buckle, and come apart. And we would put them back together and usually make them stronger than they were originally. Most of the time, we were brought beveled windows that had broken or missing bevels. We would reproduce the missing bevels and replace them in the panel. This panel was special because it had 2 bevels that were zipper cut and 1 bevel that had a glue chip platform, and we were able to restore it to its original condition. This panel came to us just before it completely fell apart. We completely disassembled and reassembled it, but used a zinc metal instead of lead, which is lighter and stronger. We repaired lots of beveled panels from the Central Illinois area, and even some from out of state. This was possible because we actually had a personal liking for beveled windows, and this led to the purchase of 3 beveling machines and many hours of practice to develop the skill to make good bevels. Our most complicated and prestigious restoration was 24 badly damaged panels from Pembroke College, Oxford University, England. These were for the new Ames Library at Illinois Wesley University, and we had 1 year to get them restored for the library opening ceremony. In the European tradition of stained glass, every piece of glass was painted and fired, and we had to replicate over 500 pieces of painted and fired glass to restore these panels. Some of the individual pieces were quite complex and had 5 or 6 layers of painting and firing to accomplish replicating them. There were a couple of panels that had large portions completely missing that we needed to replicate. We managed to get the restoration done on time, and they were installed just 2 weeks before the opening event. We felt honored to have been chosen to restore these windows that were made in 1860 by talented craftsmen. And it pleased us a great deal to be able to save these windows and to keep their work and their legacy still on display for people to enjoy. We have always felt that we crafted our stained glass to last centuries, not decades, and we were gratified and honored to repair and restore work of other craftsmen who came before us.